Hey everybody, what is going on? It's Brian with you from the Game Comment, and we're playing more Planet Coaster. Unfortunately, this is the last episode we have recorded. This is actually two different recording sessions I pieced together, because one of them, the first one I just kind of built this roller coaster, and then the second one I added a building I mentioned in my last episode. Just all my buildings thus far have been kind of all the same height, and so I decided I wanted to build something that was a couple stories tall, or just to kind of break up the park a little bit. I like how it came out. This episode, I decided, I wanted to build another coaster because I really have only built a couple in the game, and I love building roller coasters. That's fun to me. In addition to that, my other coasters I built, I never took underground, and I really wanted to do that because that's one of my favorite things. I think that's so freaking cool. Unfortunately, a lot of coasters wouldn't really fit underneath my dock. It's like there just wasn't enough room, and I suppose I probably could have just taken them straight underground, but I actually wanted the coaster, I actually wanted people to fly underneath the dock, and so it seemed that it had to actually be a coaster that you were underneath, not like normal sitting, but like you're hanging down below or something like that. So that's the coaster we're actually using. I forgot what it was called, but it's like the one that you're actually like flying, and it comes out okay. I think I mentioned it 2 episodes ago. Again, I didn't actually get a good recording of the actual roller coaster itself because for whatever reason my computer just refuses to actually be able to record it without lagging. The one thing I have to say is building a coaster in this game is actually significantly difficult, at least to make it smooth. Like, I probably ended up, after this episode, after I built it, I probably ended up spending another hour and a half just trying to smooth it out, just to make it as smooth as possible. And even then, there's still a little bit of jerks and stuff like that. We end up making this huge loop at the end, which looks freaking awesome. Unfortunately, our coaster never quite got that much speed. The stats on it, I totally didn't even take it, although I think beginning of the next recording session you'll actually see it. It's like I think the excitement was like 7 something, and you can see right there how laggy it starts getting. Ugh. But you can see my coaster just didn't make it. I think the excitement was in the 7s, and the nausea, I ended up going back as well and also redoing a lot of these areas because my nausea was pretty high at first. I think it was like 9 or something. I think we ended up getting it down to like 5 or 6. I don't know. I'll have to actually look at the recording and see the final stats. But I like how it came out. I still hadn't figured out how to actually name your coasters for whatever reason. I don't know. It seems really hard to actually name them. Like, clicking anywhere on the top right just doesn't seem to do anything. So it's kind of like, I don't know. You can see here, I was doing 2 things. A, I was trying to get it to make it all the way through, but then B, I was taking a look at the right, and I love that live update of the stats. And so you notice, like, when it's going underground there, the nausea is just going through the roof. So I spent some time and actually tweaked it a little bit to actually lower that nausea as much as I could. Once again, having like a spike on the nausea, I don't think was too problematic. It seemed more to be when you were going like longer periods of time. That's when it was really killing people. What's interesting is that last hill, and I don't even know if this is our final hill. I think it was still too high. But the end of the roller coaster, it kind of goes up, and you don't have a lot of speed over the end of the roller coaster. So it's really kind of interesting because you kind of fly over the park, but you're flying over it really slow, and then I put in this like corkscrew at the end, so you're just kind of like flying over the park like upside down at a really slow rate, and it's actually really kind of a cool ending because like you could see people walking underneath you, and you're not going much faster than the people. I mean, you're probably going like 20 miles an hour where they're only going like 10 or 5 or whatever people walk at. So, I mean, I guess there is a little bit of a speed difference, but still, it's kind of cool. It's like this just flying into the station, and I liked it. I liked how this coaster came out. Once again, it wasn't like a super high end. One of the things I ended up building, and I think I ended up deleting the recording because it didn't work out, is I ended up building 2 dueling coasters, and we ended up building them to the north end of the pier, where the pier, well, never even got finished up there, but where the extra part of the pier was actually going to be, and we had these 2 like super coasters that were inverting, that flew like underneath the dock and all kinds of other things, and I built them, and I timed them out, and I probably spent like an hour just like tweaking them so they would end about the same time, and it was really freaking cool. And then no one would actually ride on the coaster. Oh yeah, there my game bugged out and I got like stuck in the ground, but there was the final stats of it if you actually pause the video and you can actually read it. Oh, there you go. There's the actual stats. I can't actually see it in my preview window in Premiere, but I'm sure you guys can actually see it. But anyways, these dueling coasters were really freaking awesome. And like everyone was like, yeah, that's too intense for me. I won't ride it. And I'm just like, I hate everyone. I hate everything right now. So I end up not using it. So we actually had plans right there where the queue is and where the exit is. We actually had plans of building that into a building as well. Unfortunately, once again, I just kind of ran out of time. And that's kind of like the testament of this weekend for me, is like I just didn't have enough time to do what I wanted to do. And part of it was I mean, things took a little bit longer than I expected. I didn't really expect to take like an hour per building, but man, it kind of does take that long. So like I said, when the beta comes out, I don't know, we may change it up a little bit. We may try doing like 2 hours and speed it up. I don't know, we'll have to just see, because I actually do want to have progress, a little more progress than like one building per episode. But at the same point, if that's all I can manage, I guess that's all I can manage. So this building, once again, we're trying to go multiple stories here just to kind of add a little bit of height to the park, because for the most part we're flat. And if there's one thing I learned, and I think I even mentioned this in my RollerCoaster Tycoon series, watching other people, like the one thing that's really important to a park is having height. Just because, you know, when you build everything on a flat ground, it just, I don't know, it looks really plain. So it's kind of funny. So I decided then on my first park to build a dock, which is inherently flat. So it's kind of like, well, so this is my attempt to add a little bit of height. Our roller coaster adds a little bit, which, by the way, I actually found a video of my roller coaster, of the actual roller coaster, of someone actually riding it. And oh my God, mine is like almost identical. Like even the speed is almost identical. I think they have a little bit of a dip at the end that I didn't. And I'm like, crap. But for the most part, it's almost spot on. I was actually really impressed with it. Although I think it actually goes backwards too. I don't remember. So if someone who's been there, you can let me know. This building here, I kind of imagined as like the headquarters building. It's kind of like where everyone's just like who's running the park. They're just kind of there. This is where the staff goes and hangs out in between their shifts. This is where they're like keeping a little eye on all the cameras and stuff like that, and making sure everything's going. And I really like how it came out. Once again, it has that wood we had in the last episode, although I made it a little bit darker, so it has a little bit more of a modern feel. And then the giant windows just kind of make it feel a little bit more like a skyscraper, which I liked. I did have intentions of some point, I think I mentioned this one of my first episodes, I really did want to like build LA at the beginning of the park with skyscrapers and everything like that. Once again, just ran out of time. And I was trying to get the dock done with as much as possible because it just looks so plain. So we didn't nearly get as much progress as we hoped, but you know what? I'm really happy with what it looks like. I think it came out really, really well. I mentioned this in one of my previous videos. I don't think we're going to come back. I'm almost certain that we'll start with something new when the beta comes out and when the final version comes out. Simply because I don't want to start with that flat pier. I think it added way too many pieces because there was a couple hundred pieces, maybe even a couple thousand pieces by itself, which is really terrible for trying to run the game efficiently. But then B, just really didn't offer, like, it limits me so much in copying and pasting and stuff like that, and just made the game infinitely more difficult than it probably should have been. But you know what, that's okay. Here we're just adding these wooden pillars, and they kept snapping, so I ended up making like two different like quote-unquote buildings to make it work. What's funny is anytime like things start snapping, I figured out the trick is you have to like basically create a new building. So like those pillars are like two different buildings, and they're on top of my actual building. And so like that whole thing right there is like 3 or 4, maybe 5 buildings put together. So if you actually downloaded my Steam Workshop video of this building, it would be like 4 or 5 different buildings put together as a blueprint, which, you know, it's interesting, but that's the like little tricks I didn't know when I first started the game that I learned. And I think by the end of the game, I really kind of had it down. Once again, you see like the wood is kind of like poking through, and it's a graphic glitch. And I don't know if that's because I don't have the settings on max, or if that's just a glitch that's in the game right now. I mean, I really hope that's kind of fixed for the final version of the game, because that's really kind of ugly looking. Which is some reason why, well, a lot of different times you'll notice, like my roof is the same color as the actual building, and that was kind of why, because it just didn't look good. It was like the roof was like poking through, and I'm kind of like, eeh. And so there we're going back to our old faithful, and then I decided, wait a second, we built this overhang blueprint, so I decided to use that blueprint. Except, man, the only issue I have with blueprints is you can't copy and paste it. Like, I couldn't copy and paste all those items at once, and I couldn't select only the freaking, like, overhang because of the freaking dock and everything. So it was just like, so I ended up having to do this individually one at a time, and that takes, man, I mean, this, well, someone could probably actually, like, time it out, but this probably took, like, 5 to 10 minutes itself, and it was just like, ugh. And so you can see me here just trying to select it, and it was so difficult. And I guess I probably should have just selected everything, and that's probably would have been our best option. Yeah, so we ended up just making another one of overhang, so we didn't have to do that again. And we didn't even want to select it all, but I probably should have just like copied everything and then moved it all over and then deleted everything, and that probably would have been quicker now that I think about it. But this was late at night and I wasn't really thinking too straight. We added the overhang. I don't remember how far around we ended up adding it. I know I didn't add it to the entire building because it didn't look good all the way around. But, oh yeah, and then we added this nice roof up to the top. And then I ended up going with the other direction, this side, just to add a little bit of flavor. And once again, you can see it's kind of poking through, and it's just like, it's okay. I tried putting some stuff in between it because there's a little bit of a gap, but I decided just to leave it. In the scheme of things, I probably should have added a pillar at the bottom just so it actually like had a realistic like feel to it, but I'm not really going to criticize myself too much at this point, especially with how some of these buildings came out. Like, man, I love looking at that bathroom in the background. Although, honestly, like I mentioned this in my last episode, my hat shop is by far my favorite. Oh, and yeah, I guess that's pretty much the end of this episode. I end up adding a welcome sign in here in just a little bit. Yeah, just because, like, to me, this was the beginning of the park. All those other buildings and everything, they're kind of on the outside of the park, and if you actually look at I actually saw the name of the park yesterday. West Coast Park, I think it is, or something like that. Like, it actually begins like right here with the whole octopus kind of structure thing they have going on. And so for me, that was kind of like, this is like your welcome to the park, and then you have the roller coaster and everything there. Although I guess the welcome's actually behind the roller coaster entrance, the second one, but whatever. Shh, don't tell anyone. So here we're just trying to match it all up, and I end up putting 2 welcome signs. I end up putting it in both directions just so wherever you're at, you feel welcome to the park. And you know what, guys? I hope you feel welcomed as well in my channel. But you can see we're just kind of flying around, getting some aerial views, and I just kind of like do a little flyby of everything I built. And part of this, I might have actually been taking screenshots. I don't remember if I took screenshots now or later. I posted them on Twitter if you want to see them. But man, God, that hat building looks good. And then these buildings, God, I love that, and I love how the coaster flies through it. It looks great, and I can't wait to actually like do this again. But I hope you guys enjoyed this series. If you did, man, hit me up. Like, let me know that you guys liked about it. Let me know what you guys didn't like about it. Also, too, hit that subscribe button, join the Game Common. We will be having more Planet Coaster content as soon as the beta opens up. I wish I had more access right now, but alas, we'll be patient. We'll wait. And I guess that's pretty much all I have. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you everyone who paid attention, actually watched the series. Appreciate all you guys, and I'm gonna stop gushing, and I'll see you guys next episode, next series, next something. Bye.